there, I'm Ali M. Welcome to the channel and to the second segment of why there will be no V-shaped recovery nor any economic recovery whatsoever. Those people predicting that things are going to go back to normal in 2023 or 2025, they're just plain wrong, and here's why. I covered these first 5 reasons in another video. Here they are. Feel free to go back and watch that one. But now let's go straight to number 6. Certain governments of certain countries, you know who you are printing themselves into oblivion. There are a bunch of reasons a government can't just say, well, we're providing a $700 trillion stimulus package. Now, one is that a lot of public services will need to be cut back. I mean, if you think you're free, not really free, interpretive dance classes are staying around much longer, you've got another thing coming. Or you're free, not really free, childcare. Or you're free, not really free, healthcare. And if your response is, the government would never dare remove those services, they wouldn't dare. Okay, whatever, you're right, I'm wrong, I've been married long enough to know how this works. You're not only right, but you're also clever, funny, and good looking. Now, the other reason is inflation or hyperinflation. Now, inflation is one of the most misunderstood and outright ignored concepts on the planet, except for maybe Vegemite. So I'm going to do a separate video on it. Inflation, not Vegemite. But actually, my view is that something far more destructive than inflation or even hyperinflation is about to happen thanks to our new breed of Santa Claus central banks. Private enterprise and skilled people are going to leave en masse. I talked about this in my previous video, but there I was talking more about the move to remote working and the digital transformation. But this is yet another incentive because newsflash, Jerome, Rishi, everyone knows that your trillions are coming from future taxes. People may be a lot of things, but they are not stupid. People and businesses may just decide that the pickings are too slim in your country and take their wares elsewhere. And it's just one of my predictions, which might turn out to be incorrect. It's happened before, but if I'm right, holy moly, all the countries that decided to print like $1 bazillion or pounds or yen or whatever in 2020 are going to lose most of their businesses and most of their highly skilled people. Yeek. Now, why governments are choosing to do this is point number 7. But look, jokes aside, what they're doing is really bad. The US can kind of get away with it because the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. A lot of transactions outside of the States are done in US dollars. I used to live in Dubai and we did a lot of deals in US dollars. And of course, a lot of debt that other countries hold needs to be repaid in US dollars. But like the UK, the EU, Australia, places like Oz that are resource rich and started 2020 in a slightly healthier economic position are going to fare better. But the EU and China and the UK and Japan, they're all in a lot of trouble. Now, reason number 7, a bunch of economic advisors who are totally removed from reality. Now, I know I sound like a mad bush Aussie, but actually I majored in economics at uni. I even got into an honours degree. And I'm telling you, the entire field of economics is totally stupid. Now, I'm not saying economists are stupid, far from. They are really, really bright. I used to study with them. But they have been taught the wrong stuff, which they are applying now and advising governments on. Most of economic theory, I'd say about 90% of the stuff I was taught was modelling. And there's a bunch of models that you're taught at uni and at master's level. Here's a couple of them. And all of them, every single one, relies on certain assumptions that just aren't realistic. Now, one of them is that every person in the market is perfectly informed. They know everything about everything. And that's pretty dumb, right? And another is that people behave rationally. Yeah, I used to walk around with urine-coloured hair thinking it looked good. That's how rational we are. And there's a bunch of others which just don't hold up in real life. And when I used to challenge my uni professors on this, they'd say, well, we need to make those assumptions because otherwise the model doesn't hold. Then stop modelling. Is it really that difficult to take that mental step? I'm telling you, all the economic meddling and mucking about that's gone on in 2020 and before is because economists think that they can put some information in a model, tweak a couple of things, and voila, a happy and healthy economy. But far from, guys, far from. Now, reason number 8 is 0 or negative interest rates. At the moment, you get paid a teeny bit to keep your money at the bank, 0.0001% or whatever it is. But what would you say if not only you don't get paid anything, but the banks take a chunk every month. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen if interest rates go negative. And like me, you might be thinking, well, I can dwindle my savings perfectly well on my own. Thank you very much. And you might think about withdrawing that money. Honestly, I'd rather put it under my pillow than keep it in a negative interest rate account, because inflation might be ravaging my savings. That's true, but at least the bank isn't. And look, between you and me, I put my money in gold, silver, and crypto so that it's protected from inflation. And again, that word inflation, it's so important, so I will do a separate video on it. And look, maybe people and hedge fund managers won't withdraw their funds on a mass scale, but if they do, the banking system's going to crash. The banks need that money. Now, my view is that zero negative interest rates will contribute to, rather than help, the economic depression. And isn't it just a bit boring at this point? Every time economic trouble hits, the central banks say, we have a plan, we're printing money and we're lowering interest rates. Like, can't you think of anything else besides those two things? And of course they can't, because they haven't been taught to think and reason. They've been taught to model, and the models say that if you do those two things, you'll fix a broken economy. Mind-boggling. All right, reason number 9. Everything is a bubble, baby. I love this reason because I call it the bubble bath. I'm sure someone else has come up with that titillating catchphrase, but feel free to use it if you haven't heard it already. Literally everything is in a bubble. We have a stock market bubble, a bond market bubble, a real estate bubble, a gold bubble. The one thing that's not in a bubble is oil. Oil be cheap. Now, I'm telling you, these bubbles are going to start to burst in 2021 or 2022 when central banks and governments get so desperate to contain this situation that they start saying crazy stuff like, we're providing a 900 trillion pound stimulus package, and then it all ends horribly. Now, finally, a really important point is number 10. The baby boomers are all retiring in the next 10 to 20 years. In the US, a third of people will be over the age of 60 in 20 years. A third! That's massive! A third of people, 30% over the age of 60. And places like Europe and Japan, it's way worse. So not only will the baby boomers not be working anymore, but they're going to be needing pensions and healthcare. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't get those things. What I am saying is that governments of aging economies are broke. They're broke. So it's really difficult for me personally to see how they're going to afford the current level of pensions and healthcare and other perks that retirees receive. And if you're thinking, they'll just print more money, then I'm officially eye-rolling you right now. But I like your thinking. You're looking for solutions, but I actually don't think there's any solutions. Because if a politician says, we can't afford the sheer quantity of people receiving government help, so we're scrapping it or we're reducing it, well, good luck to them. Whoever suggests that will be obliterated in any election. The baby boomers are like all the voters. Now, another option is to raise the retirement age. Again, good luck with that one. Another solution, increase immigration, increase the number of smart young things entering the economy. But I wouldn't assume that this is going to be a solution for much longer, just because it's been a trend for the past X number of years for people wanting to move to places like the US, Europe, Australia. It doesn't mean that trend will continue. This is another thing like economists do all the time. They extrapolate trends to try to predict the future. Don't do that. That's wrong. Okay, that's all for today. Did you like this video? Please click the like button if so, and please consider subscribing. It really helps. And in the meantime, keep your chin up, and I'll be seeing you soon.